Hey, Zara! What is this I hear about you living in a fancy new condo building right about the metro stop? What happened? What kind of tricks did you use to land such an amazing place to live?
I didn't use any kind of trick, thank you very much. I pay for that place and so I get to live in it. It really is just that simple.
But what I want to know is how you can afford to pay the rent in such a place like that. I just happened to be out in the city doing some shopping when I saw you go into that huge condo building. At first I thought I must have been seeing things, but it was really you. I'm sure of it.
Well, that would make sense considering the fact that I'm living there now. I told you earlier about how I was going to be getting married to my boyfriend, right? Well, we did that, and we moved into this place to live together.
So then you've been living there since you got married? And does that mean that it's your boyfriend who makes you enough money to let you live there? That's amazing! I had no idea about any of this.
What do you mean?
I mean, how did a shabby basic girl like you land such a great guy? I could only ever see you getting with someone on your level, but instead you managed to find a guy rich and nice enough to let you live in a big condo with him. Just how did you find a guy like that?
Okay, Mom, you really need to calm down for just a little bit. First of all, it isn't my husband who's paying for this place. I am.
Oh, please. Do you think I'm going to buy that? You've always been such a fussy girl, and you never even went to college. Do you really think I'm going to believe that you can afford to rent at a place like that?
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh?
You've always been such a difficult girl to deal with, ever since you were little. Do you know that? I was ready to send you to any of the best schools in the country, but you said that you wanted to start working already, and so you did, just that, after high school. But I said, fine, just as long as you live at home until you earn some savings, but then you just moved out and never came back. Do you have any idea how worried I was when you hardly ever called me? And now the only reason I know when you're living now is just by complete chance.
You really haven't changed at all, have you, Mom? It's clear that you've already made up your mind about what's going on in my life, and I don't see the point in saying anything more.
I just want to know how my no-good daughter ended up with such a good man. It sounds to me like you would have been better off marrying someone like your little sister, Rita.
Excuse me? Did you really just say that?
Well, Rita is nothing like you. She was actually a good girl and very easy to deal with. Not to mention the fact that she would actually listen to me and went to college when I offered it to her. And now she's my pride and joy, who works for one of the largest companies in the country. If only she could find a man just as good as she is, then things would be perfect.
Oh, so you mean that your perfect other daughter still hasn't found a man? Maybe you should just find one for her since you handed Rita everything on a silver platter. I'm sure she'd love to get married to whatever man you picked out for her.
I bet you think you're so clever talking to me like that. Well, you just wait until I do find a man for your sister. Because it's obvious to me that I can't count on you for anything. It's no wonder you'll never be truly happy.
Hey, Zara, is everything okay? Mom is grumbling about you a lot more than usual today, and I was wondering if something happened between you two.
Yes, we had a talk. More like a fight, but I'm used to it now. Is Mom really making that big of a deal of it back at the house?
Well, she's stomping around and slamming things on the table and kind of just acting like a big baby. And earlier she asked me if I wanted to find a boyfriend, and then she showed me all these pictures of guys who I guess she's ready to try and set me up with. She said something about having to one-up you and get married quickly. Well, she said she wanted me to find a better husband than you as fast as I could. Can you believe that?
Oh, jeez. Mom really needs to learn to chill out sometimes. I wonder if she even realizes how she sounds saying those sorts of things.
But I also heard from Mom that you and your husband have moved into this really cool condo building. I think that might have been what set it off for Mom. Not only did she not know you were married, but you married rich and didn't tell her.
Well, I'm sorry that you're always getting sucked into this drama between Mum and I. I always feel bad for how much trouble I've probably caused you with all of this.
Zara, I really don't think that you have anything to apologize for at all. In fact, if anything, I'm the one who should be worrying about you. I mean, I know you two are already legally married, but are you sure that you want to have your wedding be just the two of you?
Well, I don't really think that Mum would even want to come to something like that. And if I just invited you and Dad, then it would be a mess for everyone involved. I've already explained about our family to my husband, and he says that he understands, and it's okay doing a tiny wedding with just us.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure with you. But in that case, I'll swing by some time soon, and with your wedding presents, of course. Plus, I want to see this huge condo that you're living in.
Yes, please, you have to come and see it. We're pretty busy still unpacking since we literally just moved in, but once we've got some of that done, I'd love for you to come see it. You and your boyfriend are welcome to come in here at any time.
I can't wait! Just let me know when is a good time to come over, okay? We have to have a little party to celebrate a new house and a wedding soon.
Hello, Zara. I have something that I'd like to talk to you about, and I'm wondering if now is a good time.
Hello, Mum. This is a weird way for you to start a conversation with me, but okay. What's up?
You really just want to cut right to the chase, don't you? Okay then. Zara, I want you to let Rita marry your fiancé. It's clear to me that whoever this guy is, he's a better match for Rita than he is you.
You want me to let Rita marry my fiancé? You can't be serious about that.
I'm afraid that I'm very serious, Zara. I have been searching all month for a man for Rita, but still haven't found one. But then I realized that I already know someone who knows a man with a good background and who makes much money. You were just holding him for your sister this whole time, weren't you?
You really think that I'm gonna go along with a word of what you're saying right now?
Well, of course you are. In fact, after doing some looking around, I think I do remember meeting this man of yours. Even I don't remember him at all that well. I'm pretty sure that he wasn't a fatty, and I believe he also went to a pretty good school too.
I suppose both of those things are true, yes.
Plus, he must be young and have enough money to afford living in a luxury condo, so I just know he'd be perfect for Rita.
Mom, you do know that Rita's already engaged to be married, right?
Wait, what? What do you mean? How dare you try and bring your little sister down to your rotten level? Unlike you, Rita understands that I'm always right about whatever I say. There's no way that she would be like you and just not tell me she was engaged.
Do you really think that Rita's some kind of mindless drone who just follows orders? And do you really think it's okay to force your kids to go to a college they don't want to go and work in a field that they dislike?
You have no idea what you're talking about. It's the job of a good parent to guide their children to success.
That's not what I think is happening here.
Well, that explains why you are the way you are. But if a child wants to grow up into a happy adult, then they need to do everything that their parents tell them to. And if they don't, then they end up like a problem child like you. That's why I tell people that I only have one daughter, and it's Rita.
I see, so you don't even think of me as your daughter anymore.
Of course not. And I also don't think that you should be with a guy as good as you are. You didn't go to college, and now you're just marrying rich to get out of having to find a real job. I'm sure that whoever this man is, he'll regret being with you very soon.
And just what makes you think that, huh?
Let me guess. After you two got married, you quit whatever little part-time job you had just to be a housewife. And now you just lie around doing nothing all day while your husband is doing all the hard work. I just know that there isn't a man alive who can stand being with a woman who acts like that. That's why it's better for everyone involved if you just hand him over to your sister.
Hold on a second. Just why do you think that I'm not working and living off of my husband? Do you even realize how hurtful some of these assumptions are?
Do you really think I care about how you feel when it comes to any of this? The only thing I care about right now is making sure that my real daughter is happy. And I know that she won't be happy until she has a husband who's as good as she is. That's why you need to give up your man for her.
I don't even know why I bother wasting my time when you're not going to listen. Although I just have to say that I can't believe you would literally try to steal one daughter's groom to give to another.
Well, if you don't want me to take him from you, then you better just give him up. A no-good brat like you doesn't deserve to have someone so great.
Actually, my husband did graduate near the top of his class at a great university, but he certainly isn't rich. So I don't understand why you think I married him for something that he doesn't have. Although if you really want, I guess I can just do what you say and hand him over.
Wait a minute. What do you mean he isn't rich? He's paying for you both to live in that huge condo. He must make a ton of money.
I told you already that I'm the one who pays for the condo. Meanwhile, he works as a freelancer, and the amount of money he brings in can really depend on the month. So that's why I pay the rent and utilities.
You have got to be kidding me.
In exchange, he takes care of all the housework for us. We have a really good thing set up, and our relationship isn't just based on money. So I wish you would stop trying to make this about money.
You have got to be lying to me. If he really went to a good school, then how could he not make that much money? You've always been a little liar ever since you were little, and you're doing it again now. You're the one who doesn't make that much money. I know it. You're just lying because you don't want me to take away your man. You really are a terrible daughter, do you know that?
I told you that you wouldn't believe me no matter what I said. But okay, why don't you try searching my name online and see what comes up? I assume it wouldn't be hard to find the business that I'm running as well as my picture on the board of directors page. Maybe that'll make you finally believe what I'm telling you.
Hold on a second. You're managing a company? Someone who doesn't even have a college degree is running a company?
Well, it's actually always been my dream to be a company president ever since I was little. But you said that that wasn't a good job for a woman to have, and you never really showed me any support. That's why after I graduated high school, I wanted to go out and get some real-life experience. Luckily, I found a job in my field and used that as a jumping-off point to build my career. And now I run a company and live in a huge condo.
This has got to be some sort of sick joke, right?
Told you 3 times now that I'm the one who's paying the rent. So I'll keep the house, but if you really want my freelancer, I guess I can hand him over to Rita. She might even be happy to finally be getting married.
Wait a minute. That means that this man isn't a good fit for Rita at all. He might have a good education, but if he doesn't make money, then all of that will cause trouble for Rita in the future.
But unlike me, Rita is brilliant, remember? She's your pride and joy and only daughter you admit to having. She doesn't need a man to provide for her, don't you think? Anyways, I'll tell my man that he needs to start packing his bags, I guess.
Zara, oh my gosh, you totally took me by surprise. I mean, your husband was just in my house and told me that he'd come to marry me. You should have messaged me sooner so I knew that this was all a prank. It took me a while to figure out what was actually going on.
Oh man, I'm really sorry, but that's too funny. But you're right, I was at work and I couldn't give you a call, so I'm sorry about that. I knew you'd be able to figure it out on your own, though, so I wasn't worried.
Well, you're lucky I caught on, because I talked to Fred and then I told Mom I was moving out. I told her we were going to get married, but we're just waiting in a cafe now.
You mean you went along with it? Thank you so much, Rita.
You don't need to thank me. I actually use this to my advantage as well, you know.
Oh, really? How'd you do that?
Well, this was finally my excuse to move out of the house. So, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to have to borrow your husband for a little while longer. He's going to help me make it, so I move out of Mom's place permanently.
You mean you really want to move out?
I've wanted to. For a long, long time, actually. But, you know, Mom, she would never allow it. She was always so worried something that would happen to me if I left the house by myself. I tried asking Dad to talk some sense into Mom, but she wasn't having any of it.
I had no idea she'd gotten that bad.
But now, this is my chance to finally escape. And you already told her that Fred is a freelancer and that you own a condo, right? I bet that means that Mom is going to be really against me marrying this guy. I'm going to use that guy as my ticket out of here.
You mean you're really going to run off with my husband for a while?
Well, I'm going to let Mom think until she gives up. Even though she'll be against the wedding, I'll tell her that we're madly in love and that we're eloping far away.
Well, it doesn't sound like the worst idea I've ever heard. In fact, knowing how sensitive Mum is about her reputation, I'm sure that she wouldn't tell a soul about this, given how scandalous it all sounds. If there's anything you want me to do to make it more convincing, just let me know.
I'll tell Mom that we're eloping, and as soon as I find a place to live, I'll give Fred back to you. So hopefully this won't take more than a day or two.
If that's how long you need him for, then you've got him. Maybe the three of us can meet up and look for a place for you. My work's finally settling down, and I think I should be able to get some time off.
That would be amazing if you could help me. I'll send you the address for the cafe. Just look for Fred and I.
Zara, what are we going to do? Your sister has run off and she hasn't come back. She told me that she was going to marry her fiancé and then ran off, and that was yesterday.
I guess Rita isn't the good obedient girl you thought she was.
I don't know what's gotten into her. We can't let her marry this man. It'll be horrible for her. You have to get a hold of her and tell her that I made a mistake in choosing him for her. She said that she fell in love with Fred at first sight, and I think they ran off to get married.
Wow, so things move pretty quickly for them, I guess. I never knew that Rita was that kind of girl.
This isn't the time to be joking. We have to do something.
I think that you should probably just respect the wishes of your daughter and let her have this, don't you think?
What are you talking about? Don't you know how embarrassing it will be for me to tell people my golden girl ran off with her sister's fiancé?
Well, I guess I'm glad you have your priorities straight.
You don't understand. All my neighbors just love Rita and talk about what an amazing girl she is. How am I supposed to face them now?
But isn't the happiness of your favorite daughter more important than anything else?
I got it. How about you come here to live with me and then I tell everyone how amazing my other daughter is?
Yeah, no, that sounds like a horrible decision for me. Besides, you already made it very clear to me that you didn't think of me as your daughter. And now, thanks to your meddling in our lives, you've lost both your daughters. Send Dad my love. In the end, Rita never came back, and Mum only became more ashamed of what had happened. She stopped talking to all her neighbors, and even stopped leaving the house. Rita and I explained the truth of what happened to our dad and asked him to keep our secret. He understood and agreed. And after that, Fred and I were finally able to have our tiny wedding. Meanwhile, Rita is living her dream of an independent life and was overjoyed at the realization that she would get to decorate her apartment however she liked.